So we are live now. Okay. Yeah. So hello everyone. This is Raghav Mittal Bhaiya. He's an alumni of ITG who passed it in from the class of 2015. He's right now an investment banker in JP Morgan, and he got placed in the campus placements in FICO. Okay. So Raghav Bhaiya, would you like to say something?
Hi, good morning, everyone. And I hope it's going great at your end. I know that the placement season is coming up, but all is going to be well as long as you keep your calm and confidence. Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to brief the profile of Raghav Mittal Bhaiya. He graduated from the Mathematics and Computing Department of IIT Guwahati, and he was during his stay he was the founder and head of the finance club. So the club was formed under his guidance for the first time in IIT Guwahati, and he he has interned at very good places like I guess I am Bangalore, and he was interned at NTPC as well. Am I right, Bhaiya?
Yeah. I guess we can
Okay.
skip those parts. I think we can
Okay.
spend some more time on more productive things.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So, would you like to throw me the questions that everyone wants to hear about?
Sorry?
Would you like to hear the questions that the placement team has planned for you?
Sure.
Okay, so the SAIL and the Student Alumni Linkage and the CCD, which is the Career Center for Career Development of IIT Guwahati, this is a collaborative effort from them. And the questions that are lined up is we want to know about the firm and its culture and the profile which you are currently placed in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, do you want to know what FICO or do you want to know what JP Morgan?
Yeah, we want to know about the campus placement, so we want to know
Okay,
about FICO.
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So, I got placed in FICO in the profile of analytics consultant. So my role was to go on the client side and integrate whatever the analytics solution our team has prepared.
Okay.
So the backend engineers, they'll prepare all the solution according to the client's needs, and I have to go and integrate it to the according to the client's needs at the client side. So that was a profile which was offered to me, and the profile which I was interested in. So they said at least they asked us in our time that these are like 3-4 profiles, and where do you see yourself fit in? So we told our preferences, and then they asked us like, why do you think that you are the best fit for this profile, and why not this profile? So we have to usually explain it to them and back it up with examples. So that is what we did. It was a sort of a group discussion, and after that they were the personal interviews. So about the firm, I would say, as far as I have heard, because I haven't joined the firm, so I'm not in a very good position to lay it out for you. But FICO is a very good company. It's a very old company, and it's a reputed company in the United States. It's more than 100 years old, and the growth prospects are really good. It's one of the leading players in the analytics market, and the culture is really good. The work culture is good, I've heard from people there, and it's a good company to work in if you're really interested in analytics field.
Okay, so that was like a brief. So the next question goes, which is regarding the future prospects and the career growth opportunities that the final year undergraduates over here will face during the placement season.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you want to know about the growth prospects from after
Yeah,
FICO. Okay,
yeah.
so as far as I have talked to seniors working there, if you want to specialize in this field, then FICO is good. But if you want to, switch, go for an MBA, or if you want to switch into management consulting instead of analytics consulting, then it's not a really good fit going into this industry because the transferable skills are
Hello.
not high. Because the transferable skills are not that easy to gain by working in this industry. This is a sort of a specialized industry, but
Okay.
you have to be really clear that you're really interested in analytics, and because this is a very upcoming field, and there are going to be a lot of opportunities in this field, in this industry, in the coming 5 to 10 years. So if you're really sure that this is the industry I want to work in, this is a very good company to work for. But if you're not really sure that you want to go into management consulting, you want to go for an MBA or things like that, then I would not recommend this because it's a wastage of your time and resources and the company's time and resources. and it won't really make much sense going into the MBA after having worked. So if you are offered an analytics consultant profile and then you go for an MBA, it still makes a lot of sense because you are a consultant. So you have a lot of skills which are really valuable in the MBA class and which will be valued by the admission committee. But if you
Okay.
go after being an analyst,
Mm-hmm.
analytics, I don't know what to say as the profile name, but if you go as a hardcore analytics engineer, then it's not really relevant. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. So the next question goes about the eligibility criteria that the company followed during the placements.
So they had a written test and they had a CGPI cutoff of seven, uh, it was around 6.5 if I'm not wrong, 6.5 or 7. They had a GPA criteria, CGPA criteria, and after the written test, you have to be amongst the top 20 or something to be selected for GDs and PIs. So that was the eligibility criteria and the selection procedure. And so you have to clear both the test and the GPA to be eligible for this. And then further on, you have your a very brief group discussion about the profiles and everything. And then you have personal interviews, 3 or 4 or 1 or 2, it depends upon them. Yeah.
Okay, so can you just elaborate on the stage-wise selection procedure that they followed, like what happened in the GD and what happened in the interviews that you talked about?
So as I already told in the GD, it was just about what profile that these are the profiles. They told us about all the profiles, and they asked us that which profile do we see ourselves fit in, and that was a very general discussion. They didn't give us any topic or something that uh, let's discuss about this. No, it was very generic about the company and the profile. And apart, so after that, the personal interviews they were mostly technical, and after the technical interviews, there was an HR round. But all the interviews were technical with different people, and it could even be remote. Some engineer who is working in US or Mauritius or wherever, he could be calling you and taking an interview. And they were technical, and you were again asked puzzles and about the technical knowledge and everything. And I cannot really elaborate on this because I had like a 15-minute interview, which was mostly HR. So no technical things were asked from me. So yeah.
Okay. And can you just share some preparation tips for each level of the interviews, the technical rounds and the GD and the written test that they organized last year?
Okay. So for the written test, they had an app uh, of puzzles. I think they brought out daily puzzles on the app. So I heard about it later that it was really helpful for cracking the test because the level of questions was the same, plus a few questions got repeated, and the puzzles were of really good quality, I would say, but they were also really generic and well known. So if you Google and you study about all the famous puzzles which are there online or outside, so if you prepare for like 15 to 20 days, you'll be in a very good position to crack the written test. You have to prepare, that's it. Then they're not the puzzles which you're gonna sit and be able to crack on the spot because they will take a lot of time and the thinking process to answer them.
Okay. So moving ahead, we would like to get some advice for the fourth year guys related to the personal interviews.
Okay. So personal interviews are basically a medium for the company, for the manager to know that you're able to communicate your thoughts properly across a team member, across to a manager. Because even though you may be however knowledgeable you may be, if you're not able to communicate, it's not going to work. So the thing is with interviews, you have to be really confident and calm because whatever you have prepared has been prepared. Now you have to give your best to showcase it in the best possible way. So first, I would like to suggest that whenever you enter into a interview room, you have to be really confident and go and look into the eyes and have a very firm handshake because first impressions really matter. And it's all about likability, which you have to work upon in the interview. If the person sitting across you likes you, even if you're not able to answer a couple of questions, he will take you. So you always have to make the other person like smile. Don't like creepily smile, but just like don't be stressed out. Be normal, be yourself. Because getting stressed out is not gonna help at all. So you have to be always remain calm, keep on smiling, and be confident. And so they'll always ask you in any interview, tell me about yourself. And many students, 90% of the students don't even prepare a very good, crisp 1.5 minute or 2 minute answer to this. It's a very wrong habit. And the thing about interviews is you have to game the interview. So whatever question they ask you, you have to give such an answer that you leave a door open to things which you want to talk about, to things which you want them to talk about. For example, if they ask you, tell me about yourself. So you start by giving a very crisp, and please don't start with the school education or stuff because they're not interested in that and it's not relevant anymore. You have to talk about relevant skills to that profile, to that company. You should be able to tweak the introduction a bit. And so whenever you give a very crisp introduction about yourself, and at the end give your hobbies. So you could start off something like, uh, I chose this branch because I was interested in this, and in this 4 years I've done this which is pertaining and relevant to your profile and your company, and this is how I could add value to your company. You don't say this, but this is how you talk about things. It always has to be relevant. You don't waste somebody else's time, because the time which you waste is the time which you're going to regret later. This is the time you have to make it count. So for example, when you give an introduction, and if there is some robotics, for example, you have been really huge in robotics in your college time and you have done a lot of work in that. So you could end your introduction, or you could, put it in the middle as a very interesting point that I've done this in robotics. That's it. Leave it open-ended so that the other person is always interested to know more about it. You should always leave things open-ended on things which you're really confident about, so that the next question comes out of this answer, and that is how you game an interview.
Okay.
So
And
yeah,
yeah.
and yeah, that is all I would say about the introduction and leaving open doors. And always have to, you always have to understand the question first. Many people just start answering without them even ending the question properly. So understand the question properly, and if the need be, repeat the question, that sir, this is what I get, like this is what I'm able to understand or make out of it, am I correct? They will always appreciate a calm and patient person. So understand the question, then repeat it if the need be, and then answer. You may take 10 seconds to gather your thoughts. That's acceptable. And the last thing I would say is, like, you never tell, you show. So it's a very famous saying that show, don't tell. How do you show? You show it by backing with examples. For example, you don't show that I'm a very hardworking person or I'm very adaptable. So, for example, I would say that I've changed 8 schools in 12 years, hence I'm really adaptable, or I've done this on my own, so I'm a very quick learner, or I'm a self-motivated learner, something like that. You always uh, show by examples and back it up with examples, and then it should automatically be inferenceable that yes, he is a hardworking person. You don't even need to tell that. That is how things stick in the interviewer's mind. Yeah.
Okay, moving ahead, we would like to know some of the preparation regarding the resources that you took up for the preparation at the final stage in the last semester or in the last year that really helped you throughout the placement procedure and throughout the season.
I'm sorry, I did not use any resources. I did not prepare anything for the placement
Okay.
season. But I know my friends who did, and a couple of resources which I've heard they're good is, so there. First of all, you have to be on the net a lot and read all about puzzles and solve all the puzzles which you can find. And there are a couple of good books, puzzle books, 101 Great Puzzles or something, but I'm not really sure about the name. Maybe I can just send it across after the interview.
Okay. Would you like to add any other points from your side regarding the interview?
Regarding the interview. The interview is also a kind of a discussion. So whenever you're thinking about some puzzle which they have given you, you never, just keep your mouth shut and think about it by yourself and just give them an answer 1 minute later. That is not how things work. You always have to keep it interactive. So by keeping it interactive, I mean you have to involve the interviewer in your thought process, how you're thinking. Because even if you're not able to solve the question, the interviewer is impressed if your thinking process is right. That is what he's checking. So never be afraid that if you're not able to answer a question, solve a puzzle, it does not matter. As long as you know he likes a thinking process, as long as you're able to communicate your thinking process well, and you're able to increase your likability factor. That is more important. That is much more important.
Okay, moving ahead, we would like to ask a few questions that some of the final year students have filled in the doc. So there was one question regarding how did you prepare and apply for the finance firms in the eighth semester?
So to apply off campus, you have to be really sure about what you want, because it's not a job fair anymore where companies come to you and just pick you up. It's not. So it's reversed right now. It's reversed. You have to go and beg to the companies to take you. And why will they take you? If you're able to add value to the profile, if you're able to add value to the company. So you always have to have persistence,
Hmm.
I guess. That is the most important thing in off campus, because
नहीं
many people just give
अरे
up.
बहुत लोग मैसेज करके बोल रहे हैं कि चैट फुल है कि क्या है.
So you always have to be persistent.
हेलो
And hello,
हेलो.
hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm hearing a lot of disturbance actually.
Yeah, it's fine right now. Yeah.
Okay, good. So to apply off campus, there are a couple of gateways. Now there are job portals everywhere in every company's website, but they're said to be like black holes. Things just go inside, nothing comes out of them. And but that being said, you always have to first apply to the job portals in every company, apply properly, and then you always have to back it up by contacting an individual, an employee of the firm who can reference you for that profile, because internal references are the most effective way used by companies to fill jobs. It's a fact. So you always have to have someone inside who can reference you internally. So for that, you always have to reach out to people. We have alumni in every company possibly in the world. Or even if you don't, we have to leverage the IIT network, because it's so vast and nobody says no to help you out, because we are all part of the same family. So reach out on LinkedIn, look up people, search people according to the profile which you are interested in, talk to them. Don't say that, I want this help from you. Just say that, hi, uh, so I really like the work which you're doing, or just say a couple of good things, and just say that if, according to your convenience, if we could chat for 15 minutes, it would be really great. I would just like to know more about the work which you're doing, about the work which the company is doing. That's it. Keep it open-ended. Don't just start begging for help from the first go. So once you discuss things with them and then you see how you are a fit for that, then at the end of the discussion, maybe you can say that, fine, I thanks a lot for telling about all this, and I think I'm a good fit for this profile because of these reasons. And if possible, I have applied for the job portal. Could you please reference me internally if you think that I'm a good fit? That's it. So
Okay.
don't ask for help. Networking is not about sucking somebody for help. It's not. Networking is all about friendship, creating bonds which you're able to sustain. And the only way you're able to sustain is by first helping others, and or by not being selfish. You have to be really casual about things. And so once you contact an individual who can reference you, then it is very likely that you will get an interview call. And for preparing for off-campus interviews, you have to be thorough with whatever you have done. That is all the firms seek. That if you have written a project, even if it's not directly related to the industry or the company, you have to be really thorough with it. you have to be really confident in it, in explaining it and answering the questions about it. If you're not able to do that also, then it basically questions, your capability, your aptitude. And a very bad mistake which people do is resume. Resume is the first impression which you create for off campus, and there's a general thumb rule that 10 years of work ex equals 1 page of resume. I don't know why IIT Guwahati encourages 2 pages of resume, but once you go in the industry, it's not acceptable at all to send across 2 pages of resume. It always has to be 1 page, 1 pager, and a resume is never generic. It always is tailor-made according to the profile which you're applying to. And things like स्पर्धा में ये किया या फिर कृति में ये किया या फिर मैं इंटर हॉस्टल मंथन में ये आया, these achievements, so-called achievements, don't really matter to the companies. At least they're not as important as other things, which are projects, which are courses, even online courses, internships. Work experience matters the most, and then education, because they are looking for someone who is able to work in this profile and add value. So you should always be able to clean up your resume to 1 pager and list all the courses, the skills which you have gained, and the languages in which you are able to code, and really big 3-4 achievements or 4-5 achievements. That's it. Work experience is more important, projects are more important. So you always have to send across a 1-pager resume and then follow it up with people inside the company.
Okay, since you applied for some off-campus interviews, what were the major differences between the on-campus and the off-campus interviews that you applied for?
So on-campus interviews are much more relaxed, in the sense they have come there to recruit you. You know that for a fact. It's more of a selection procedure rather than a rejection procedure. Whereas off-campus, what happens is like there's one vacancy and there are like 10 people applying. So it's more of a rejection procedure rather than a selection procedure. So you are the one who sits in the company's place and you are the one who's begging for the job. The company is not begging for candidates. Thoda sa the situation changes, but that being said, off-campus interviews are also more detailed. They are much more interview-like, and luck doesn't play that much a part as it does in the placement process, because they are more spanned out and they are much longer in durations, and they really test your technical skills, and you really have to prepare for them. And that being said, off-campus interviews teach you a lot, because the real world works in this way. Uh, More than 50% of the people leave their first job inside 1 year. So what happens is now they have to go job hunting. And if you've already, applied off campus and you know how to do things, it's really easy for you. And that is how you're going to work throughout your life. You have to network, because it's a very famous saying that success is 80% due to your networking skills and 20% due to your education. And that is very, very, very true, which people realize later. So if you're able to inculcate these habits in the beginning itself, right after you graduate, it's really helpful. And that is what happens in US and all. Only in India, this is not the scenario.
Okay, there was one more question from one of the final year undergrads, what are the necessary items to take into an interview room? What do you think that what do you think the things are which can help us crack the interview?
The things which can really help you crack the interview is your confidence and your attitude, nothing else. Your knowledge or whatever, that is something which is built before the interview. The only thing which you can take inside the interview room which can help you crack the interview is these two things. That's it. Because this is what will differentiate you from the rest.
Okay, and there was another question. It was a query regarding a situation where the student got a very bad CPI in his third sem, and because some of the non-productive stuffs, and so he's asking, should he tell this honestly to the interviewers, or should he make some good excuse during the interview if he's asked about it?
Okay, good question. So I was facing the same dilemma myself. I had a very bad SPI of like 6 in my third semester. So the thing with interviews is like, so as I said, it's all about likability. If you're able to project your failure in terms of experience gained and mistake learned and corrected, the interviewer will think like this is a smart person. He's an intelligent person who is able to learn from his mistakes, and at least he's not repeating them. So as long as it was a one-off mistake and he learned from his mistake, and he actually made efforts to improve his SPI or CPI from the fourth semester, then it totally makes sense to tell the truth that fine, I did this mistake. It was new to me because I entered my core branches and I did not take interest. Everything was new and I did my mistake. I own it up. I'm a man, so fine. I did a mistake. Mistakes happen, and as long as I've learned what my mistake was and I'm not repeating it again, and I'm a more mature person and I'm a more responsible person after that, it's good. So it won't really affect if you're able to project it that way.
Okay, so now we would like to open the room for the audiences that joined us in this hangout. So we would like to hear from a few questions from the audiences that are live right now. Anyone?
Even if someone has any question later on, they can always type it in and you can forward it to me. I'll be glad to answer.
Okay, fine. That will be great. Yeah, somebody is joining right now. Let me. Yeah. Okay. So I think that would be enough for each one of us. So would you like to share something from your side, if you'd like to add something?
The placement process is very random. It's There's a lot of luck involved. There's a lot of jugaad involved. So don't lose heart if things will not go according to your plan. They will definitely not go according to what you have planned. So expect the unexpected, and please don't lose heart just because a bunch of companies or senior executives don't want to take you in their company. It doesn't mean shit actually in the long run. So it's just like 10 days of randomness, and all you can do is like try your best, and whatever happens happens for good. So even if you're not able to be where you wanted to be, don't lose heart, because what will actually separate you and take you there where you want to be is your attitude, nothing else. So if you don't lose heart and persevere and don't give up, it's going to take you there. That's all. Yeah. All the best, guys. It's not a do or die situation, please.
Okay, thank you, Bia. That was a very great. It was very great talking to you and know all these stuffs. And I guess this hangout will be really helpful to all the senior undergraduates who are appearing for the placements.
I'm glad. Happy to
Okay.
help.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Bia. Bye.